what it is and what it do. We talking about OTAs? OTAs? Stick around. We'll get into it. Birds of a feather. Let go.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck like this game he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you download your podcast. So if you are listening to us live right now, or on your commute, or in the shower, or wherever, we greatly appreciate it.
I mean, I don't want you to be listening to us in the shower.
Why
I'll
not?
gladly join them in the shower.
Why not? Again, why not?
How you go from bad to worse?
Hey,
Have
man.
you not been watching my show for the last 2 years?
I checked in every once in a while, but
It's your boy Chucks back again. It was me and Mr. Pete Young last week holding down the fort while everyone abandoned us.
Sorry.
Right, Pete? Right? And,
Right.
It was only us two. And I think, Pete, we did a really good job.
I like to think so. And you know what? We're getting shout outs from J-Mac.
Woo! You see that?
I showed my buddy Igor at work. He was
Very
losing it. That was
impressive. Showing the love. Loved it. But, of course, we welcome back our brethren with open arms. Mr. Jake Friel to my left. What's good?
Not much. Happy to be back. Let's go.
Good. You coming back from you were at the Phillies game last week.
Indeed.
I mean, I can't imagine that was any more exciting than be on the show. I mean, it's
I think they actually
Nah.
won that game though. They haven't won a game. In a while.
yeah, they did win that game. So
yeah, but it's baseball. So, and then below me, we got my brother, as always, Mr. Pete Evans. What's up, man? He's so mad.
Wow. I mean, it is America's pastime at some point, no longer. But shit, I'm happy to be here. Had a birthday Monday, so that
Happy
front
belated, as
it's when you get past the front number being a 3, shit changes, bro. shit changes.
Are you
40 now.
hitting the midlife crisis already, man?
Dude? I'm 40. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Like, I feel different. I feel like my whole wardrobe needs to change. I can't say certain things. Like,
Oh my
it's
God.
just weird. Like 29 to 30 wasn't that bad. 39 to 40, like, I got to start getting certain body parts checked and shit. Like,
God.
I don't feel 40. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm not looking forward to getting to that landmark anytime soon. But happy belated. I'm glad you did you enjoy your birthday dinner at K-Pot in Philly?
Yeah, so I had K-Pot in Philly. Very easy drive right over the bridge, literally. Short rib was good. It's just getting over the technique of it. I have to get the execution down.
Yeah,
Execution is key.
Yeah.
Best broth I've had at any ramen ever.
Oh yeah, because it's hot
Pork
pot.
broth. I can just sit there and drink that shit like it was liquor. It was
Yeah.
just that good. It was just that good. It's expensive. They tell you it's $30 per person, but when it's all said and done, about $55
Yeah,
per
because
person.
they tack on the additionals.
Yes.
The add-ons.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, the
Yeah.
bill was like almost $500 for 9 people. So
Oh, it was a bunch of
Right.
you going. That's dope. Okay.
yeah. She,
Okay.
my wife surprised me. He had a couple of my friends there. A couple of my friends couldn't make it. next year she'll probably reach. She's like, I didn't know I can reach out. And it's like his name is Charles. She didn't know. She's looking for Chucks because she was trying to bite guys from A2D. So
Gotcha.
there is someone else that's turning 40 very soon.
Yep.
On this platform. Now I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Thankfully, not me.
It ain't me, guys. It ain't me. If you're wondering, it's not me.
Not Jake either.
Jake is not even 30 yet, right?
Not yet.
He's a baby.
I got 2 years left.
Jesus Christ, young people, man. Well, we are
young forever because that's my
speaking of young people. We will be talking about young quarterbacks, the best young quarterbacks in today's games. That was a good transition, but that'll be in the second half of the show. We will dive into who we would rather build our team around out of a pool of the best young QBs in the league. That'll be exciting. But the first half, we're going to dive into the latest, I guess you can say Eagles drama or just reports. It's still July, so we're reaching for exciting news. But it's news nonetheless. So we're going to talk about it because shame on us if we didn't, right? It's Eagles' biggest Eagles news. So we're going to dive into the Jalen Hurts drama that's been going on the past week over what Derrick Gunn said about OTAs. So that'll be our first half of the show. And the first half of the show is brought to you by, we got two sponsors. We got Fan Up, which is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, a $50 value. And also by eXp Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, if you're looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820. Again, that's 302-682-8820, or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Our poll question, which is brought to you by the boys over at All Campus, which is the home of A2D's Rant Booth. The report by Derrick Gunn regarding Jalen Hurts' struggles during OTAs back in May is not something to be concerned about. Agree or disagree? Mr. Pete Young, because you held down the fort with me last week and did such a great job with it, I'm going to give you the floor to begin. So, do you think, what do you agree with? Do you disagree or agree to the poll question below?
Well, first off, I think the story's bullshit. I think it's Derrick Gunn being on his own, creating clickbait nonsense. A whole bunch of other beat writers were laughing it off. AJ Brown's laughing it off. And every report we had out of OTAs was how good Hurts played. And even if he wasn't, like, we would have heard something. And B, he wasn't playing. Devonta Smith wasn't there, and AJ Brown wasn't there. So who cares? Like, it's OTAs. I don't give a shit if you're sacked. I don't give a shit if you throw 50 interceptions. It's whatever. Like, I get it. Everything looks nice and fun and rainbows right now, so we need something to cry and complain about. Thus is Philadelphia media. But it's just overblown stuff to get people angry and riled up prior to training camp. That's all it is.
Jake.
So I highly disagree with Pete. If there's any reporter that I do respect and that's been around the city for 20 plus years and has a better rapport with the organization, it's Derrick Gunn. There's that. He's like the only reporter, at least in Philadelphia, that I do trust. I'm not going to say clickbait because he did explain he was told by someone from the Eagles that that's where it all came from. So, and again, it's just one bad practice. AJ Brown wasn't there, so what he said, whatever, it's no big deal. He's protecting the godfather of his kid. So, I mean, it is what it is. But again, it's OTA, so who cares? That's the gist of it. So, I'm going to disagree. I think people just really turned it into something that it really wasn't. It was just one bad practice, and again, it happens. We'll see that when training camp comes around. Jalen Hurts will have one bad practice. Everyone will freak out, and but then Jalen Hurts will have a good practice, and everyone in the city is going to be like,
Here we go, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
everyone's going to be dancing and just being all.
You queued that up for yourself.
I was sitting on it for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I was sitting on it for a little bit. But no, I think it's overblown because, again, I was talking to Marcus about this earlier, and you can check Marcus out right before our show with Pro Fan Talk. He does a great job over there.
Football Thursdays on A2D.
Yes, sir. So I was talking to Marcus about it. OTAs, it's really just kind of like you experiment and try different things and work out a couple kinks here and there. So I'm not worried about it. If we're seeing or if we're getting reports that Jalen Hurts is struggling in training camp and he's not looking good whatsoever, I'll be a little concerned. But once the regular season comes around, that's when we'll really see him because once preseason starts, it's mainly going to be Gardner Minshew and the Carson Strong show. So I'm not worried about it. That's just my opinion, but I'm going to disagree with the poll. It's only OTAs. Relax.
So wait, you agree that it's not concerning?
That's not concerning. Yeah, my bad.
So you agree to the poll.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Evans.
What's up, Marcus? I just want to give a shout out. Listen, people, look at this tan line. That's where my Apple Watch is. See that? So
I know that all too well.
My people do get dark in the summertime. Just want to say that. But back to the poll, to the question at hand. I wouldn't care either way. If Derrick Gunn would have came out and said, "Oh, Jalen Hurts has shown so much improvement since last year," and this, that, and the third, and I wouldn't agree or disagree. So I don't think it's concerning. So I guess and the way that the poll question is phrased, I agree to the poll. It's not concerning. I don't know why AJ Brown. I mean, I guess he just kind of stood up for his guy. I mean, it didn't take long to figure out that he wasn't even there.
Right.
You know what I mean? At OTAs. And like Marcus said, and like we heard, it's been beat to death, is Barrett Brooks co-signed on the report. This is information that was told to them from a source within the Eagles. And it's two different ways. Whatever side of the Jalen Hurts fence that you're on, you can use this as more ammunition to say why he won't be the guy and why he will never be the guy. And then it's a little bit harder you can from the standpoint if you are pro Hurts, where you can say, listen, it's just OTAs, it doesn't matter, 707, this, that, and the third. So, and when we get 2 weeks from now, I believe training camp starts on the 26th, if I'm not mistaken, 26, 27, or 2 weeks. They may actually be like the first official training camp practice. This is where you will get into that. If he's struggling, but what is he struggling with? If his wide receivers aren't getting open, if the routes aren't there, or I don't really care about that because guess what? I have higher expectations for this defense than most.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I want the defense to be able to kind of shut down. I think you got to balance both from defensive offense to where one unit is not necessarily light years better than the other unit. But if he's missing on throws, missing wide open receivers, that's when you may start to get concerned. But even then, until we get to September 11th, which is the first game, I really don't. It doesn't matter to me. Now, I mean, because listen, if we can get through Carson in the offseason, he who should not be named, and how bad that was, and brush it off. We can brush off whatever Jalen Hurts does in this offseason. Yep. But it's just so polarizing because of the fact of who you have in the 2023 draft. I mean, Howie Roseman was on the dial today talking to Italian Ange, grandfather Angelo. You can take that for whatever it's worth. And he said, listen, I got you, bro. I got you. So obviously, Howie has something up his sleeve. Whatever he can go red or blue pill. He could be Morpheus. You know what I mean? That'd be funny to see Roseman in a Morpheus.
Oh my God! Now I want to see it.
An oversized coat to make him look even smaller.
Right.
So it's just like
limits.
It's just one of those things. I mean, it's a downtime. But listen, 4 weeks ago we were really down because we had training camp was 6 weeks away. Now it's 2 weeks away, and this is around the league. So stories are gonna start coming out left and right. Yep. I mean, I'm glad we don't have no Baltimore Ravens beef like we got with Bernard Pollard and Lamar Jackson right now. Lamar Jackson, I mean, listen, you are Lamar Jackson, but put some respect on Bernard Pollard's name. He was a key piece of that 2012-2013 defense for the Ravens, which got them that second Super Bowl.
Yep.
He's gonna have to look you up and see who you was. I mean, that's ultimate disrespect. But
yeah,
that's what happens. That's what happens with this age of athlete. They get on Twitter and they just go at it. But it's not concerning at all because I would feel the same way if the report was glowing for Jalen Hurts.
Mhm.
Because show me who was there OTAs. It was pretty much rookies and second year players. A lot of the veterans weren't even there. You know what I mean? So, and even the first week of training camp, if the same thing happens, all right, the defense has a job to do. You feel what I'm saying? Like the defense has a job to do. They can't just let Hurts sling it out there. Now, if not Devonta, I'm sorry, Devontae. I just think at this point, I just think Pete's just trolling now. At Devontae, if he's
I don't
wide
think he's trolling. I think he's legit. That's how he pronounces it.
But like I said, if they're running wide open and it's an easy throw, it's a dump off to Gainwell, a dump off to Sanders, and he just looks off, but for a consistent amount of time, then it's going to be concerning. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like they're getting reps. You know what I mean? Like, so no. My other brother just joined us here, Nate, Money Moss Nate. Caddy corner.
Money.
Cool. He in the office. In the office, I see the whiteboard behind him.
Yeah, man. I'm at my studio. I have a studio, so
okay.
Yeah. I'm at the studio. I just helped the guys with another show. So
okay.
I was like, birds of the feathers on. Birds of the feathers on. They got to go.
Well, you came just in time, Nate, because answer the poll question.
Man, it's funny, man, because this report and this conversation has been going on, and it's so early to even think about this. But the one thing I do think about is that if you've been around Philly as long as we've all have been and followed sports, Derrick Gunn is pretty legit, right? Yeah. The record speaks for itself. He's pretty legit.
Highly respected.
So,
yep.
Highly respected. Usually when he comes out with shit, it's usually pretty true. And it's always that old saying where there's smoke, where there's fire. So I'm actually going to go the other way. So put the poll question up real quick again. I'm going to disagree. It is something to be concerned about.
Okay. I know you're one of the people that are very skeptical with Hurts. I know a lot of us are. Well, but a lot of us are. So like it's
more than skeptical. I've said a lot of things about it. That's a nice way to say it, bro. It's definitely not skeptical. I think he sucks. I'll just be point blank. I have no shame in saying it. I've thought he sucked in the beginning. I didn't see enough, but then he really started to change my mind because I think I said this 2 weeks ago that he fights, right? And you love that in your quarterback. He fights. He's a leader, and you can work with that. So I think I still have to see it to believe it. Like I'm not going to be one of those guys putting money on Jalen Hurts winning MVP. You can forget it.
I actually had that thought I don't know what the line. Something was like Pete.
Yeah, see, they sucking you and look at
No. Listen, I'm just trying to like how can I pay this or pay credit cards off for like 6 months? Like 15,000.
Leave that shit alone, bro. Like you gotta throw for like 45 touchdowns, have like 5,000 yards. His peak is not that. I don't think he'll ever see that. Yeah. I don't think he'll ever see that.
I honestly, I was looking at some odds the other day. I'd rather put money on, if I'm going long shot, I'd rather put money on Matt Ryan than Jalen Hurts, considering. Okay. So
I don't know about that either, bro.
So, I'm just saying, like out of the two.
Come to the show on Sundays. Come to the show on Sundays.
I'll take that invite. But for the poll question, that I'm going to agree, but let's not act like like similar to what Nate said. Let's not act like Derrick Gunn is just making stuff up. I don't believe he's making stuff up. This again, he's regurgitating something that was told him by a reliable source, and I believe him. Now, there's obviously more to that OTA session back in May. And remember, it was back in May. So the fact that AJ Brown disprove that or try to like go off, against that take. It kind of didn't like make sense because AJ Brown, you weren't there. But like the fact that he wasn't there could, what you said, Pete, add to the fact that he had struggles because Devontae wasn't there either.
Mhm.
So there's so much context that we just don't know. But I believe that what Derrick Gunn said, because that's what he was told, is true. But I'm not going to be concerned about it. 2019 season, the Niners made it all the way to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. If you backtrack in the preseason, OTAs, training camp, there was a report, or there was something came out that Jimmy G threw 7 interceptions in a practice section. And everyone made a hoopla about it. Oh, Jimmy G sucks. He led them to the Super Bowl that year. They lost, but it's just one of the million, thousands, hundreds of examples of things that happen in OTAs, training camp, that, you can take note of, but oftentimes they don't mean anything. They don't mean anything when it comes to the season. Sometimes you can argue that they can. I mean, Nate here, not Nate Money, but commenter Nate.
Well, you don't know. I mean, as soon as that first comment from Nate came up on YouTube, Nate had just gave his answer to the poll question. So I don't know what's going on. Nate got a doppelganger out there.
He says Rager also caught a one-handed ball in OTAs. Did we see that in games? No. So I mean, like it is what it is. You can take note of it, and I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Hurts continues to have practices where he struggles. That's just what it is. Like I don't.
Not even that. Our defense is our defense legit. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not going to be cookie cutter defense out there. He going
right. So I mean, there should be some practices where he probably he struggles, and it wouldn't surprise me if you hear that more and more often.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the one thing I will say, even though I agreed to the poll, I get Nate's point of view. And the other thing I just want to add to that is from Gunn's report is the one part that is concerning is who and how high up did this information come from?
Right.
Whose opinion is this within the organization? Yeah. Because if this is somebody with some stroke, you know what I mean, then that would lead us to, okay, this dude has to do more than enough to prove to us during this year, training camp in the regular season, and hopefully the playoffs, and we're playing some January, hopefully some February football for his future here to be secure. I mean, that's that part of it is concerning because, especially for him, because this is where we're at. I don't think, and I'll mention he who should not be named again. I don't. I can't.
Who you not trying to say? Go ahead, speak up. I want to hear.
Carson. I don't.
Oh, Carson.
Do you think Hurts is under more pressure at this season than Carson ever was?
No.
The Carson ever was?
No.
So we're on record saying that Hurts is. So you're saying you're agreeing that Hurts is under more pressure than Carson ever was?
Yeah, because we've seen Carson's ceiling.
Right.
We knew how good Carson could be.
Okay.
So after you saw that, it really wasn't much, to me at least. It really wasn't much for him to prove. I think he proved that he could carry the team by himself the one year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The 1 year where everybody was hurt and it was literally just him.
Yeah.
I think he proved that and kind of shut those comments up, and then him kind of being kind of injury prone. But I think that Hurts is under a lot of pressure, but I think he's used to that.
Right, and that's what I was just going to say. Like we talked about how he started to win you over from his competitiveness. When it comes to a leader and those traits, he got. He is Gerard Butler from the 300, bitch. That's who it is.
That's what he is.
But he will have you. His skill set may have you running through a wall to right off a fucking cliff. That's what it may. That's what it may be. But if anybody's going to do it in this city, in this area, under this type of pressure, it's going to be him. Because he has all the characteristics of a quality as a person to succeed. Now, will he be given a chance to do so, and will the results bear that fruit? That's what we have to see. That's what we have to see.
I mean, he's got opportunity. Look at this goddamn
team. And the team around him, they listen.
Yeah.
I'm not. This is the third. We not even 30 minutes in, but they've never built a team like this on the offensive side like they did for this.
No,
team. Ever did.
Never.
Yeah,
Well, I don't think the offensive line has been this good across the board.
Right.
yeah, that's always been a staple.
That's true, too.
Like, I think that's the one thing. Like, I think I'm trying to think of like a time where we had like almost Pro Bowlers across the board.
Because you go to like early McNabb, like 04.
Yeah, it's got to be McNabb. It's got to be like Trey Thomas, Runyon, and I'm trying to think who was the center then. Was it Hank Fraley?
Fraley. It was
Hank
Fraley.
Fraley.
at
Yeah,
one
with
point.
Hank.
You got Jamal
Yeah.
Jackson.
I'm trying to think who the guards were. The guards were kind of.
Remember,
Who was the one guard that was like he was really lean, and what was this goddamn?
well, I mean, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if it's a guy
What is
that
his
you're talking
name?
about.
Yeah,
You're not talking about Mayberry. You know, are you talking
Mayberry.
about
Oh, you're talking about the guy we got from the Colts that became
Evan
Evan
Mathis.
Mathis.
Evan Mathis.
Yeah. And remember, Sean Andrews had that 1 or 2 years where he was
Yeah.
like
He was like the best lineman in
he
the
was
league.
the best. Yeah, Sean Andrews he fell off a cliff, and then his brother came with him. So I mean, that line for the past 20 plus years has been like a staple. So it's like it's kind of like without mentioning, no need to mention. I think here's another way to spin this. Say you take this report that came out, right?
Mhm.
And you remove the whole thing about how Hurts was in OTAs in May, and you just focus on Gunn saying someone within an organization is saying the team doesn't feel very confident in Jalen Hurts moving forward. Would that have gotten as much heat? Because you could take that quote and say, and base it on how Hurts performed at the end of the year in the playoffs, and to me, it's 100% believable.
Mhm.
And you look at what moves they made that trade to get a second first rounder next year. They're showing that they are kind of preparing themselves just in case Hurts doesn't work out. So why would that be surprising? Just that quote alone saying, hey, the team doesn't feel very comfortable about Hurts' future. I think if that report just said that, I think it gets less heat than what it did. But because of the OTAs thing and because of AJ Brown, coming out, like it gets so much heat. But I think it's unfair on Derrick Gunn because you got people that not knowing the context behind it. But I think that quote itself carries a lot of merit.
This is Philly, man. We're like this is Philly. Like this is what we do. QB controversy all day.
And that's
20 years.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Wait till preseason starts and you start seeing Carson Strong playing well, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, Carson Strong! Look at his kid. He threw a 70-yard bomb." Because one thing I will say, he does have a cannon. His knees might be demolished, but he has a
got the Jay knees. Okay,
he basically it's the same.
He got the same issue with his knees I got.
Does Hurts play in the preseason?
No shot.
So.
And it's 4. Was it 4 games now?
Three.
Yep. Yeah. No.
I don't need him to play. I've never understood
the need him to play in the preseason. I need him to play.
I need him to. I want him to play a couple snaps.
Game 3, the first quarter. I need to see something.
Give me a series.
Yeah.
Right. Give me a series. I need to see it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see it live when it counts. I need to see some preview. I need an appetizer.
Right, yeah. And everybody's gonna be looking close at his mechanics. Now, the one point, Chucks, that you just made about Derrick Gunn, the one thing I could say where Derrick Gunn was in a tough place is because, like you said, with their actions during the offseason, getting that second pick for the first round of 2023 already shows you, okay, they may not totally be sold on Hurts. Everybody knew that coming in, but you just pile on when you come up with the more recent stories since the draft has already happened. That's been completed. All season's done. Here comes, boom, let me throw a cherry on top of why Hurts may still have all the weight of the world on his shoulders. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that he doesn't look good at OTAs and things of that nature. Now, if he's holding on the ball too long, things of that nature, that's going to lead to sacks. And I know somebody was saying, how do you sack somebody at 7-7? Because it's a time sack. This dude can't be holding on to the ball if he's taking off and then this clock. So 2 weeks from now, when we get in the training camp, I'm looking at his mechanics. I'm looking at how he can throw. Hopefully his mechanics improve because we just need the ball out quicker. And the biggest thing is with him is anticipation. Yep. He doesn't throw with anticipation. I always say I think he's kind of overrated when I talk about Drew Brees, but Drew Brees he threw with anticipation all the time.
Did you say Drew Brees was overrated?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Serious?
That's another topic for another day.
Dude, I'm just saying.
Overrated
This-
QB coach
This
can't
is
win ever.
I am convinced there was more Sean Payton than Drew Brees.
Wow.
Wow. I'm trying to think of something smart to say, but I can't think of anything really smart.
He went 7-9, 3 straight seasons.
Like, I think it's just like, what? Like, huh? Drew Brees ain't overrated, bro. Come on. He was doing this shit in San Diego. Like, stop it. Now, was he throwing for 5,000 yards in San Diego? No. But he was still doing Drew Brees shit in San Diego.
He is the version of he's a stat filler. Like when it's all said and done, I'm gonna give you this is a great comparison. Now since he's won the Super Bowl, in my opinion, Matt Stafford's a better QB than Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I think Matt Stafford is highly underrated.
I completely agree.
If you put Matt Stafford on New Orleans, if you put Matt Stafford on the Saints, he probably already have rings.
I was gonna say that you put Matt Stafford on the Saints with Sean Payton. What happened?
I don't know if they win, but I think he still replicates the same numbers. I think he can put up 5,000 yards.
Remember that underthrown ball in the NFC Championship game, the LA Rams? That's not underthrown with Matt Stafford.
No.
I mean, we're talking
all Matt does is make wide receivers. That's all he does.
Who is Coach Marcus that's getting all this love? I don't know.
I think he's is that Marcus Graham from that comes on before us? I don't think he was on tonight.
Yeah, that's Marcus.
Yeah, that's Marcus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Marcus.
I mean, just because he got a picture with the Eagles don't make him. I'm like, who is Coach Marcus?
It was his birthday this week too, as well. Happy belated birthday, Marcus.
Happy belated, Marcus.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What's up, bro? I ain't never met you before. So.
You see how they like to keep the brothers? You see how they like to keep the brothers apart? They holding us down.
Oh. They put all the minorities on one show.
What's that? I'll put all the black people on one show.
Yeah.
You know I'm hosting that bitch. All the way. Just let me know.
There's gonna be some drink in that, boy.
Bryce says his 35th birthday is on Saturday.
Happy birthday. I don't like telling people happy early birthday. I'm bigger than that. I'm big.
You gotta get there first, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get there. You ain't 35 yet, Bryce. Yeah, happy pre-birthday. Quick question for you guys, and then we'll transition. Unless you guys have also other things to say about the matter, but do you think whether or not it's enough or not? Okay, all right, I said not twice. Sorry. Whether or not it's enough, but do you think Hurts does improve as a passer to some extent this season? And we'll go around Jake, and then Nate, and then the Pete's on the bottom.
Yeah, I think he definitely improves. Obviously, we saw the difference, and again, it's such a minor clip, but how Chucks and Pete look at film, and that little that tweet that we got, what was it, like a month ago?
I think it was a month ago, weeks ago, yeah.
But for the average fan, it's like such like a subtle difference, but it's a sizable difference compared to what his throwing motion was last year. And he did work with Tom House in the offseason, so that's nothing to sniff at. So you gotta, and just for context, right? For people that don't know Tom House, he's what's his actual title? It's like a throwing specialist. Like a throwing specialist. But regardless, he's worked with Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, like all the great quarterbacks.
Well, Hurts has worked with House for a couple of years now.
Oh, has he? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was working with House.
Okay,
at least last year. I remember.
Okay,
remember hearing about it. But no, it is something to take note of.
Yeah, he'll definitely improve as a passer. Now, again, I said this on Marcus's show also in the comments that not only does his anticipation, like Pete said, have to improve, but his pocket presence has to improve as well. He can't be sitting there for 1-2 seconds and then getting ready to roll out.
Yeah. 2 years ago, that was a big no-no.
Yeah,
big no-no 2 years.
So if he can improve in those two areas, then I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine this year. But it's just a matter of how good he will be this year. Getting back to our last point from earlier, that how confident this team actually is in Jalen Hurts. Because he can have a good season and they could still move on from him.
And then it was okay. So from a scale, let's add something to the questions then for everyone else. But Jake, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being hell no, 10 being I would put all my money down on him right now. What is your confidence level in Jalen Hurts this upcoming season?
Not overly confident, but I'm not going to say he's going to be terrible. I'm going to say 4, just because I'm not really anticipating much. I'm kind of in the same place where Nate's at. Like, he didn't like impress me. Like, he showed like a couple flashes here and there, but nothing to be like, wow, that's a franchise quarterback. So he's really going to have to impress me this year in order for him to, actually the Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie in order for him to come back this year. Because at the end of the day, what Jeffrey Lurie wants to do is throw the football. Because you got a top 10 wide receiver in A.J. Brown, and you have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You're going to be using Kenny Gainwell in more passing situations, or at least that's what we've been told. So if Hurts can't do it as consistently as a passer, then no matter how good of a season he has this year, if he can't throw the ball consistently, then he's gone.
Marcus does make a good point. Need to give him more credit to the fact that Hurts is under the same offense for the second consecutive year. First time in his college or pro career, which is definitely something to take note of, and hopefully that does help him even more. Nate, do you think he's going to improve as a passer, and what is your confidence level on him this year?
So let me ask you this. I just looked at his numbers. He had 3,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 9 picks. This is just from a passing standpoint, 61% completion. Is 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns and 7 interceptions good enough?
No.
Is that improvement though?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the
So you're saying he can improve and you can still move on from it.
Is that what you're looking for, or are we looking for? Like, my thing, that yards don't really bother me because he does so much with his legs.
Right.
Okay.
But scoring touchdowns, though. Now, obviously, he had a lot from a rushing standpoint. I think he led the team, right? He had, 10?
10, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, almost double digits. So 26 total touchdowns. But almost a segue to our second part of the show, once we talking about these young guys that are 3 seasons and under, they're throwing 30, 35, 40 touchdowns a year.
Yep.
So he has to almost double his output to be considered in the best, 25 under 25 per se. So can he improve? Is 35, 20? It's a lot of pressure on him, man. I think for this to be a successful season for Jalen Hurts, not really cared so much about passing yards. We like a lot of passing yards, but he's got to throw for at least 25 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's my number. That's where I'm at. If you give me 25 touchdowns, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good with you if you throw for 25 touchdowns. I'm good with him if he throws for 25 touchdowns, especially with the arsenal and the offense that he has built around him at this point. He's got talent everywhere.
Yeah, if he can't get 25 touchdowns with this offense, like with these weapons that you have,
right.
That's bad. That's bad.
Knock on wood, with injuries, because you got to get lucky with injuries. It's a long season, it's a long grind, but 25 touchdowns, like he's got to hit that number. That's my number. Yep. I need 25 touchdowns. I need, keep those interceptions under double digits. We're like really I'm close to Donovan numbers. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I think that's his peak. Like, if you told me what's the best Jalen Hurts that we would ever see, it's probably a good Donovan McNabb season. Not the best Donovan McNabb season.
Okay.
Because in my book, Donovan is better. Right? Yeah. Donovan is better. And then obviously he had a Hall of Fame coach with it, so that helped.
Right.
Yeah.
That changed the way they play offense. Remember, Andy was, he would pass to set up the run. Yeah. So I think that Sirianni is a smart coach. I think he'll learn on the fly. But to answer the question, I'm gonna stay on the controversial. I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's going to improve that much, because I don't take getting 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns as an improvement for this type of what this offense is. Because Pete, you put Drew Brees on this bitch? Shit.
It's over. I was a proponent of trading for Matt Ryan for what they gave him away for this team. But everything else they did around him, I'm like, all right, give me Matt Ryan. That way you still got two picks.
You can name a lot of free agent QBs, and they're talking Super Bowl in the city right now.
Yep.
Russell, Watson, Garoppolo. I'm still think you talking Super Bowl here. Matt Ryan, I still think you can possibly talking Super Bowl here.
Baker, you're gonna say Baker?
It's funny because I'm a Baker fan.
I
like Baker.
I'm actually a Baker fan.
Yeah.
I think Baker fits this culture in this city.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
Like he would eat this city up. With
they love him.
Yeah, just with his swagger, his style,
his grit. Yeah,
but he's got to win. He's got to win. He's got to win, and he's got to show up. So, I'm gonna say Baker's maybe. I'm not going to give Baker the okay that we're talking Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. But I'm a Baker. I'm actually a Baker fan, and I think he does well in Carolina.
Yeah, I like Baker too. I'm rooting for him in Carolina after.
I can't. I hope so.
The Browns did to him, so I am rooting for him.
Hurt me, man. It hurt my boy.
My meter right now, I'll go a little bit higher than Jake did. I say a 5.
Okay.
I'm about like half. I'm still 50-50 on him because I got to see it. I just have to see it before I say, oh, okay. Because if he gives you 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns and like 8 picks, 600 yards or 700 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, I mean, is he your franchise quarterback? Are you signing him to a big deal when they're paying him $35-40 million a year?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
That's tough.
He ain't working on $35-40 million. I can tell you that.
No.
Mr. Pete Young.
As everyone knows, I am the local Jalen Hurts hater. People will get mad at me for.
I don't know if we knew that.
Yes, this is. Anyone who's watched Fan Friday for the last 2 years knows I'm not his biggest supporter. I mean, granted, sometimes former show host Dan would take that from me, but like I've been skeptical of him like the whole time. Like I was like banging the table for freaking Russell Wilson. Like that was my one hope in the offseason. I really want Russ.
Yeah, I wish.
But as I started watching Jalen, I started seeing the improvement. I started seeing the team start to turn things around. I started to get excited about what could happen with him. Like he checks the boxes. Like he's got that Tim Tebow leadership that people will go like insane for.
Well, Tim Tebow.
It is, I'm sorry. Like, that is. People will run through a wall for that guy. Like, they shouldn't. They do. I've never seen a guy willing to do everything like Hurts has to just to fit in. Like there's nobody he looks like a franchise quarterback. Like he looks, he acts, he breathes it in. Like this is the type of guy Hurts is.
Yep.
I want it. Like I honestly, where I'm at right now, because I'm breaking down film, I'm watching defensive stuff. I'm watching like every snap he's taken because I usually do that in the offseason just to gauge how I'm feeling heading into next season. And, I'm feeling confident in him. And you know what? I'm going to shock some people. I do think his mechanics get better. I don't think – here's the thing. I don't think he needs to be a better – like, I don't think his arm is going to get better. I don't think it's going to get stronger.
Right.
But I also don't think he needs to because from what I'm seeing, it's his awareness in the pocket that's screwing him up. And I think he's taking too long in his reads. And that's another thing I think is going to get better because you can – see things breaking down. Like his mechanics look a little different when he's practicing now, which I'm excited about. And you know what?
I'm sorry, who the hell was that? My bad, Pete. I'm sorry,
dude.
I stopped
when you put it up. I'm looking at Chuck like he like I can't believe another person on this
black guy
platform with that as their average.
Brian Westbrook.
Oh, wow. That is hilarious. Sorry, Pete. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, man. I'm going with a 7. I'm going with a 7. That's where my confidence level is with him right now.
Wow, it's not Friday yet, but okay.
You're between a Westbrook sandwich.
Yeah.
A shirtless Westbrook.
Damn, they're good looking.
Oh, my God. your favorite picture, Pete?
All right, so I'm gonna try to get through this while looking at this screen. No, the yards, and we're gonna look at yards and touchdowns, but I really want to get into the completion percentage on makeable throws and timing. That's the biggest thing, is the timing and the mechanics. If he throws for 3,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, and he runs for another 8, so if he's responsible for a total touchdowns around 30, between 35 to 40 touchdowns, and he throws for 3,700 yards, has like a 63, 64, maybe 65% completion percentage, and then makeable throws, or it's higher, like 75%. I need you to make the throws that are there. I need you to be able to connect those. If the receiver drops them, that's one thing, but they can't be reaching behind them. They can't be missed time. You can't do that. You got to hit on it on those throws. Then that's an improvement. However, with that being said, Nate so eloquently laid out the possible scenario to where he may improve with the numbers from last year, but it still may not be good enough for the team to want to secure him for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely that realistic possibility. Meter wise, I'm probably at a 6 because like Pete just said, this guy is going to do everything possible to try to get better. Everything possible to try to get better, to try to succeed. Now, what that ultimately turn into results is to be seen, to be determined. But the thing is, at least we have a quarterback here who isn't a finished product, who wants to work, instead of having a quarterback here who had skills, who showed you the skill set he could be the best quarterback in the league, but didn't want to improve upon himself. He didn't have any self-assessment and self-accountability. Where Hurts has all that because he's been carrying that ever since high school. He carried that to Alabama. He left Alabama. He carried that in Oklahoma. Now, every year, I mean, truth be told, he gets better and better and better. But the thing is the time clock going to run out here in Philadelphia before he reaches his peak? Is he going to be given a chance to reach his peak here in Midnight Green? That's going to be the question.
Yeah. And you said your meter at 6?
Yes.
Okay. I do believe he's going to get better because he's gotten better each season, dating back to his time from Alabama, then to Oklahoma. He has improved each season. So I have no reason to believe that he won't continue to improve. However, I will say, I don't think even with his improvement this year, I don't think it'll be enough. My confidence meter, I'd say, is at a 4.5. I want to say 5, but because I don't want to I don't want to be right in the middle. I guess I'll say 4.5, and say that if I were to pick and gun in my head, I say no. I don't think he is going to do enough to warrant a big contract. And I think the Eagles move on from him after this year. But I want to be wrong so bad. I think we all want him to be the guy because, Pete, what do you say? Whatever you said, like if he is the guy, that is the easiest route for the Eagles to success.
That's the easiest route for. Well, I will say this: him being a guy is the quickest route to long standard success. But this dude can only get like 25, 30 million a year. That's it. I'm not paying him no more than that. If he's and his agent can't come to me and say, "Hey, we market value," that's not market stats, bitch. That's day old market.
Aren't they capped because he was a second round pick on how much they can give him in terms of the extension?
Are they? I'm not sure.
I think. Well, I don't know. I'm not that detailed in terms of contracts.
That may be like some basketball type shit where you only certain, like you're in a certain structure.
You're right. I think you're right. My bad.
For birdies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, then that Prescott wouldn't have got 40 million because he was a forefront.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, no, you're right. My bad.
So I mean, it's just not that like if this dude can give you poor man Lamar Jackson numbers. Is that acceptable for an extension? Because that's really what we're looking at now.
What's poor man the Lamar Jackson numbers?
Yeah.
Throwing for like 30. Well,
I think what he has is poor man Lamar Jackson numbers.
Could he be Ryan Tannehill?
Ugh.
Yeah, well, that's another mediocre quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do like 4 years, 130 million with 60 guaranteed, Is that a bad contract?
No. I don't
Say it
think so.
again.
For
Say
a
it
starting
again.
quarterback, 4 years, 130 million, 60 guaranteed.
No, because you probably can get off of
No.
that year 3.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think it's
You know what I mean? His first year probably it'll be front loaded like a lot of Howie deals are.
Mhm.
So actually, no. Let me tell. Let's count who it is. Some of Howie's deals are backloaded too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But for the quarterback, a lot of them are front loaded, so they are paid in the top tier, on the front end of that contract,
And then it tapers off.
and then it might taper off after year 3.
Got
So
it.
like his signing bonus and his salary this first year would probably make him like in the top 10
Right.
paid quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The second one would carry over with a high salary, and then the third and fourth would be like opt-out years.
Yeah.
Right.
When Wentz got his contract, refresh my memory, was his second or third year that big year of that contract, of that extension?
1 second.
I don't remember because
You
it was
talking
like
about Carson?
he got that extent. Yeah, he got that
It was after
extension.
2019 or right before
Carson's
2019.
different though, because Carson
He
looked
showed
like
you he
an
could be that
MVP.
dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, he showed that he could be an MVP caliber quarterback.
Mhm.
So I think Carson's a little bit different. So they were okay with paying him because, like I said this earlier in the show, like they saw it, like
Yeah.
they saw the hype. He was I think Marcus said this earlier. He was a top pick, right? So he checked all the boxes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Carson's deal was 4 years, 128 million, and he had a 16,300,000 signing bonus, and he had 107 million guaranteed. Jesus.
That makes sense though for him.
Yeah.
At that
So a
time,
similar deal, but with not as much guaranteed.
that makes sense for him at that time.
Yeah, at that time it did. I remember that was considered a bargain compared to some
Back
of the other
then, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
back then.
And the meat of his contract is this year. He's making 22 million this year.
It's this year. It was a meat
Yeah,
of it?
that's the most he's going to make this in the contract. Yeah, and then the following year, it's $20 million, and then in 2024, it's 21.
So Coach Marcus comes up with a great point that
I was going to bring this up as
Yeah.
the last point of this
because somebody else, I think it may have been Pete, that said it in the preseason, where you're going to see Carson Strong and Minshew. Listen, get ready for it because
It's going to happen.
when people in this area see Carson Strong throw the ball,
Yep,
it's going to look light years better than Minshew or Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
light years.
he's a better thrower than the football. Anyone who doesn't know that needs to watch him play. Like he was lights out. Like his arm is amazing, but he has no fucking knees. And also, this city has a backup quarterback fetish.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
it doesn't matter if it's Matt Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Nick Foles,
Daniel
Joe
Jones.
Flacco.
You ever see
Mike Vick
Kids?
and then Nichols again.
I think it is.
You ever see the show Kids? Way back in the day?
Yeah.
The movie Kids? When the dude walking on the train, I have no legs.
Yeah.
I have no legs. I have no legs.
But bro, I mean that's what's going to happen, man. It's like I would compare. So I would say Carson Strong, just coming and throwing the football from the quarterbacks that are on this roster right now. Carson Strong is
one.
He's Luke Skywalker. He's it.
Luke Skywalker.
Whereas Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew are just Padawans. That's exactly what they are. They're
He's
no
trying to be good.
Yeah.
It's basically what he is.
They're not good at all. They're like it's just you know what I mean. It's just not there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's,
I was rewatching some of his Nevada tape from the past 2 years, and man, like he can fit.
Oh,
that
he
ball.
has a
He can
cannon.
fit that ball.
If only he had cartilage.
He can thread that needle.
and it tells you what the Eagles State because I think it was the highest UDFA contract ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Me and Jake have had this discussion on when we were doing Fan Friday, and I was just going through like rankings and everything. The amount of money that they gave to not only Carson Strong, but a whole heck of a lot of other undrafted kids just tells you exactly what they thought this market was going to be and why they felt so comfortable trading away early assets.
Kennedy Brooks. I would to rebuttal Marcus's point here though. I'm not like that where he's of the mindset like, oh, like we could do much worse, so I'm just gonna stick with Hurts. As long as he doesn't suck, I'm just gonna stick
That's
with
dangerous.
Hurts, even if he isn't like if he doesn't have
that's what the Flyers are doing right now.
I don't like that. I don't have that type of mentality. For me, I want to always get that elite guy or search for that elite guy, like especially at the quarterback position. Like what you guys know me well with the draft, I am more risk seeking when it comes to draft prospects than a lot of other people because to me, like 80-90% of the time, I want to take a risk on a guy who has a higher ceiling and strike out on him than go for the safer pick. I always look for that. So I don't agree with that mentality that Marcus has is that, as long as he doesn't suck, just ride out with him because we do much worse. Well, or we can't do much better. Like, I want to be able to look for someone who's elite. Like, I was talking to my one friend the other day about the scenario, and he was just saying, like, we could win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. I told him, yeah, we could. We won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. The Ravens won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. The Bucs won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. I mean, you can win a Super Bowl with a bad or mediocre quarterback, but it's not about that. It's about what are your chances of getting to that Super Bowl? How do you increase your chances and likelihood of actually making that Super Bowl? And it's shown, history has shown the past 20 years, you need the best way of getting to the Super Bowl and winning one is with a top 5, an elite tier 1 quarterback. So that's what I'm always going to be looking for. And if I love Hurts, I think we all agreed on it, here that we love Hurts' leadership, his intangibles, everything like that. Hurts is so easy to root for, and I'm rooting for him. But if I'm just going to go on his physical talent and his play, I don't see it right now. I just don't. I don't have much. I haven't seen anything to put confidence into that. And we look at just ask yourself. You look at that playoff game, the AFC. What was it the AFC divisional round game between the Bills and the Chiefs? You look at the back and forth between Mahomes and Allen in that fourth quarter and overtime. Well, fourth quarter technically because Allen didn't get the ball in overtime. But in that fourth quarter, do you see Hurts being capable of pulling stuff off like that?
No.
I do not.
No.
I do not.
No.
And that's the type of quarterback I want. I want a quarterback like that. So I will always risk it.
Do you want that because of how it looks, or what if the team around them was stronger? Because I think you can win the Super Bowl with Hurts if the defense just has to be lights out. Like the defense has to carry the team.
The defense has to be the margin, the amount that your defense has to make up for the lack of talent of QB is much more difficult to attain. Because look at the defenses that won a Super Bowl the past 20 plus years, with a mediocre or worse quarterback. You got the Bucs, right? Back in 2003. You got the 2000 Ravens. Like you're talking about the Broncos in 2013. Like these defenses were like all-time defenses.
Yep.
So that's what you have to attain in order to be like, hey, our chances of winning a damn Super Bowl with a mediocre quarterback are really great. You have to get to those levels of defensive play. I mean, even the Jacksonville Jaguars, they had Saxonville back in 2017.
Yep.
They couldn't get over the hump because Blake Bortles was just too bad. And I'm not saying Hurts is Blake Bortles, but my point overall is it's harder to win that way, trying to build up your surrounding team and defense when you're lacking a QB than it is to get a top tier QB with more pieces back around. I mean, we just saw with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had arguably the worst offensive line in Super Bowl history, at least in recent history, and they went to the Super Bowl because Joe Burrow is that damn good. So it's your quarterback makes up for more of what your team is lacking than an elite defense can make up for what your QB is lacking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was like, I'll be in the minority here. If he was Flacco, I could live with myself. Like, I think people downplay how good he was for those 9 years. Like he was a solid quarterback. Not to mention, he set the NFL postseason record for touchdowns. Like
he was on a heater, man. Like Flacco turned in mediocre football play, rode the coattails of the defense, and then he got in that playoffs. And that, I mean, the next closest, Nick Foles did the same shit.
Yep.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, but like
he did it for one less game. But Nick Foles is
Foles was hot too.
Yeah, he was
Foles was really hot. But we've seen that with Foles. Foles gets hot.
He's very streaky.
He gets very streaky, and since when he's hot, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, but I at least saw Flacco like play full seasons and then head into the playoffs with some steam. And I actually saw him have continuous playoff success.
But see, the thing is, when you're saying Flacco to Hurts, that's just so alpha and omega. That's so opposite ends of the spectrum of how they play the position. I think you said somebody that's very, very comparable, and that's Ryan Tannehill, because people don't give Tannehill credit for how much he runs the ball and what he does. But as far as throwing the football, he's not great. He's not bad. He's somewhere in the middle, and that's what I just like when I'm watching Sunday. Whether I'm in the stadium or I'm at wherever I'm watching that, if there's a wide receiver open or there's a window for a throw to be made, I don't want to see him missing those throws like he was last year. Right? When it's a clean pocket and he's running out because he just doesn't want to stay in there that half second longer and he's still going to be held upright, I don't want to see that. You see what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. But like we've all said, all five of us on this panel have said, every year he's gotten better. It's he hasn't regressed. He hasn't progressed to the point that we would want him to see as fast, but he hasn't somewhat regressed. Now, at some point last year, he did regress a little bit, where he got back into that, and then that was short-lived. And then, I mean, you can't. The last time we saw this dude play the quarterback position for the Philadelphia Eagles is the wild card round against the Buccaneers. Listen, it can't get no fucking worse than that, can it?
Go.
No. You would hope not, anyway.
That's the worst we've seen.
Yeah.
So it's only one way. It's only one way from here. And that team that he had around him then wasn't as good.
So Pete, while you were going on, I loved what you said right there. I was going through Tannehill's numbers the last 3 years. He's averaging about 25 TDs, 9 interceptions. I'd be fine with that. If that's what he's giving me, come next year, I'm completely cool with that.
And with a similar contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting paid super amount of money.
Well, then here's the kicker, though, guys. You got to consider the offense that they run. The Titans run a run-heavy, run-first offense, which limits what Tannehill has to do. Okay, so therefore the numbers with less of a sample size are going to be more efficient because he's not asked to do as much as a passer. Whereas with Hurts and our team, we already all admitted that as long as Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are running the team, they're going to want to be a pass-first team. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that what we saw in 2021 with us running the ball all the time, that's not going to stick.
Right.
They're going to want to be a pass-first team.
Now, when you say that, isn't that a fault of the with more volume on the passing game? Right.
That exposes Hurts to have less efficient numbers.
Right. So now my question to you, or my rebuttal to that is: at what point do you do that just in spite? Because that's what the odds you want to see. You see what I'm saying? You want to see that. Like, I forget what it was, who it was. It may have been the Devils at that point. Scott Stevens, fucking hate him, still took out Lindros, son of a bitch. But that style of hockey play, right? Like, that coach probably went in there with a game plan and said, listen, all right, this is what we're going to do. And then realized it didn't work, had to fall into this. And then look at where they at. They won the Stanley Cup. But at what point it's one thing for them saying, hey, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, this is what we want. This is what we entertain. This is what we want to see. But then if they come and say, hey, based on the analytics, passing offenses or passing style offenses are more successful than running offenses or run oriented offenses, then all right, then you can make this. Don't make the switch because it's not because what you want. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like make the switch with so has some type of clause or some type of cause for it, some type of reason for it, and some proof.
Yep.
And some stats there to make the change. I mean, honestly, I kind of answered my own question because I'm trying to think when the last time a run-oriented team won the Super Bowl. I mean, hell, the Titans was number one, was the overall seed with a running offense. I didn't even make it to the
Seahawks. I know I'm not going in order, but I know the Seahawks.
But that defense was fucking great. You need a defense. Like
I know it was great, but what I'm saying is they were run first. So I'm just saying like a run first offense winning the Super Bowl. Right. Seahawks were they were. That might be one of the only times.
I mean, you could think of the Denver team, but that defense got hot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Carolina they didn't play nobody in the. I say it to this day, that run in 2015?
15
to 16 when Cam won the MVP. They didn't play nobody.
Yep.
They didn't play nobody. I mean, the Saints. That's it. That was 2 games. They didn't play nobody, and no one could do. You hit somebody with something when you hit the league with something, and they can't figure it out. They won't be able to figure it out in the season. Mm-hmm. But that defense that they ran to in the Super Bowl is different. Right now, Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor's and his shit, he didn't have a quarterback to execute it. Now he got Joe Burrow and executed. Plus, you added Jamar Chase to that shit, and you already had Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. I want to see what that shit is going to be the same effectiveness this year.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now with Nick Sirianni, I mean, for what we're saying here, right? If Hurts can, this is another thing for Hurts and a feather in his cap. If he can get his shit right, nobody really saw the Sirianni offense that he wanted to run, passing the football with lesser talent than what he would have this year taking the field. So if Hurts can take that step forward, then it's almost like Sirianni. Okay, this is the first year of my shit. This is the first year of my passing offense because Jalen can execute it to a point more successfully than he was last year. And injuries kind of got him down a little bit last year as well. But that's just kind of what they had to do. They were forced into a corner to run the football.
I mean, yeah, that is a good point. I mean, it touches on what Marcus said earlier about the continuity too. So that's a good point. We're just gonna have to see how it all plays out and how Hurts can execute that, because if he can improve, maybe it does open up the playbook a little bit more. So it'll be very, very interesting. We are 2 weeks away from training camp. It's crazy how it's already that close.
12 days.
About 2 weeks away from training camp, and it will be very interesting to see how things develop with this Eagles team and what type of reps the starters, not even just Hurts, the starters get in that preseason and going forward. So great conversation. I didn't think it was going to last over an hour, but it did. So let's go transition over to the second half of the show. If you're still listening and you have, you want to voice your opinion on the Derrick Gunn report about Jalen Hurts, definitely drop your comments into the chat. We will show them on the screen. Keep listening in, but we will go over to our second half of the show. Before we do, Mr. Pete Evans, can you let us know who are our sponsors for the second half?
So we got Gleason's Bar, located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A to the 2 to the D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. And you can check them out at GleasonBarandSteaks.com. And then we also have on deck Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal. I think he has locations in Cherry Hill and Burlington. He is our doc, make him yours. Everybody needs some physical therapy, especially when you can't be out this bitch. I almost stretched my back just swimming in the pool, bitch. Just swimming in the pool. I'm pretty sure. I know Nate was in Disney a couple weeks ago, so I'm pretty sure maybe he got some shin splints because that's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
The body just don't take like it used to. You got to prep your shit. Like if I'm like, all right, I'm going to the boardwalk tomorrow. Like my daughters, they want to go to Great Adventure. I got my 2 daughters. One birthday's on the 19th, others on the 20th, back to back. They want to go to Great Adventure on Monday. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, so Sunday I gotta My water intake got to be crazy. I can't be doing that because I'm gonna be like 12, 15,000 steps at Great Adventure. And listen, I ain't trying to leave my knees in Jackson, New Jersey.
You know what's crazy for me? Like, yeah, I'm tired at the end of a Disney day, but like it goes by quick. It doesn't. I don't feel it till the end of the day. But you know where I go where I do have to prep? New York City.
Yeah.
I have to prep myself going to, like, I have to plan because I'm not good with that, with the riding the subway. I don't drive in the city, in New York City. I don't drive. That's suicide right there. So I park in Jersey City and I take the PATH train into the city and then go from there. But like riding that subway, New York City subway, I have to prep myself. I have to plan ahead and all the walking. Yeah, that's New York City. I have trouble with walking. So that is something if I have a really bad day in New York City, I might have to go to Mr. Paul Vidal Specialized Physical Therapy to help me recover from that. But all right, guys, best young QBs in the game today. I know there was another. The reason why I brought this up as a second half topic is because I know there was another ranking that was put out this past week, a few days ago, top 10 QBs in the league, and it got me thinking. Okay, like we had Pete and I, Mr. Pete Evans had QB rankings show a few weeks ago. Let's get into more detail with that now with you guys. Let's look at the best young QBs in the league. So I said anyone entering year 3 and less. I was looking at the 2019 draft class, and that really just consists of Kyler Murray and no one else. So I decided, okay, let's just include Kyler Murray in that conversation as well. So if we're including the top QBs from 2019 and on, and we're not going to include, well, you can if you want to, I guess, this draft class. But if you're including all those QBs from 2019 and on, you've got Kyler from 2019, you got Burrow, Herbert, and Hurts, and Tua from 2020, and from 2021 you've got Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, and Davis Mills. Davis Mills, I guess I mentioned because he's going to be the starter for the Texans. So those are the names out there. So let me put it this way. Let's start at the top because I don't want to do just a rankings. I don't want us to just flat out rank them. But let's have some conversation. I'll pose some questions. And if you guys have some questions you want to pose too, definitely do that. But the top, would we all agree that right now the top 2 are Burrow and Herbert? I think that's
no.
Who would you put?
Brady, Mahomes, Allen.
Bro, we're
talking about since 2019.
You see, I got real close to the camera. Like, huh?
Almost tapped on the screen. Like, is this thing working?
Since 2019.
Dude, were not listening to me at all. You're going last. That's the last time I have you go first opening the show.
No, never.
Bro, the quarterbacks that were drafted in 2019 and on, so that consists of Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and Davis Mills, and then the quarterbacks from this year. All right. Out of all those names, I think it would be unanimous between all of us that Burrow and Herbert are the top 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which of those 2 would you rather have?
Herbert.
Yep.
I'd rather Burrow.
Yeah.
I like Herbert a lot. I'm going Burrow because he was on a team. 1, he just took his team to the Super Bowl. So that's right. And then 2, he was the most sacked quarterback in the league. So
he still did what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he still put up the numbers what he did. So let's imagine him getting some protection whatsoever. Now his receiving core was ridiculous too.
Yeah.
So does he do that with every team? Probably not.
Right.
But you give him some, and it's hard to say elite talent because it's only 1 year that Chase did what he did.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to crown him just yet, but you give him talent, top tier talent, he's going to sling that rock.
Yeah.
For sure. So give me. I'll go Burrow, but I like Herbert a lot.
Yeah, I love.
I like
I think
Herbert a
we all
lot.
love Herbert. We love both of them.
I've been
Jake? Did you say Burrow too?
Yeah, I said Burrow.
Okay, all right. I figured.
Well, like I get Herbert, like he has more of the track record, right? But like we all know how good Joe can be. He's shown it in college, and obviously we saw it last year without an offensive line, mind you. Like Nate said earlier, get him an offensive line with all the weapons that he has. Good luck. Good luck.
Pete Young, you said Herbert, didn't you?
I do because
Okay.
I loved him in college, and the second he came in the league, when everyone was on that Tua train, I knew in my heart this kid could ball. And when I watch him play, there's a dog in him. Like there's a straight killer in Justin Herbert. And as good as Justin Herbert last year was, and he was great. I still want to say Justin Herbert because I still believe this kid can be the best quarterback in the league for the next 15 years.
Pete Evans, what did you say, Burrow?
I mean, Joe just has it.
Mhm.
Joe he has it. Like he's an alpha in a room full of alphas. Like that LSU team was probably the best college team within the last 50 years, and it had so much talent on it. And the question was, is it real, or did he benefit from having everybody else around him, or is he just that fucking good? Well, guess what, people? He's just that good, and he likes and he wins. So when you have that as a quarterback and you're that cool and you handle it under pressure, you see what I'm saying? Like the reason they lost the Super Bowl wasn't because of him. He needed another second to be able to find Jamar Chase, who was running open. He just didn't have it because the offensive line just wasn't there, and it went up against that defense. So, so it's definitely Burrow, Herbert, and then I probably would say this is probably going to make Chuck's mad. Well, I mean, so where would you all right? So right there, Burrow and Herbert, same draft. Okay, so let's just say 2020, the 2020 draft, 2021 quarterbacks better than 2021. Where do the 2021 quarterbacks rank on this list?
So let me answer the question. I would choose Joe Burrow, and the reason why I would choose Joe Burrow over Herbert by a hair is because even though physical standpoint, Herbert might have a better arm and everything like that, Burrow, what he is elite at is the fact that he has an elite mind. Like he is just super, super, super smart, and it's not like his physical traits are lacking either. Like he might not have an elite arm strength or anything like that, but it's great. He might not have elite accuracy, but it's great. Like all the physical tools might not be elite top of the top, but it's not like he's lacking any of them. It's hard to find a weakness in his game. He's a winner, and I don't like throwing that around often, but he's just a winner. So I would choose Burrow over Herbert. Now, if you're going to combine 2020 and 2021, so you've got Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, Tua, Lawrence, Lance, Fields, Wilson, Mack, and Mills. If I were to mush them together, I would probably rank them Burrow, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Jalen
Fields
Hurts.
over Wilson.
What was that?
Yeah, Fields over Wilson.
How's Fields over Mac Jones?
Because he is.
And it begins.
Because he is.
Justin Fields is hot garb. He is
I'll
hot
put-
garbaggio.
I'll put him
Yeah,
over Mac.
because if you put Mac Jones on the Bears, does he do any better or worse?
Yes, I truly believe
come
so.
on.
No shot. No way.
I like Mac Jones, but let's not act like he's the most talented quarterback there is simply because his team won a lot. Like they literally won a game with him throwing 2 passes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So
all you
don't act
need.
like Mac Jones is the next coming of Tom Brady.
No, anyone who thinks this is crazy.
And you're crazy.
You like Justin Fields. You're a little crazy.
How am I crazy? There are a lot of
He's
people
not
that-
good.
How
No,
are-
he's
there are a lot
better
of
than
people
Mac.
that had
He's
Justin
better than Mac
Fields ranked
Jones.
higher than Mac Jones.
You're saying he's more talented than Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Better and talented is two different conversations.
You
I'm
can have as
talking
much
about
talent in the
talent.
world. It doesn't. If you're not better on the field, I don't give a shit.
What does that even mean though? Like if you're isolating just your play, individual play, not the team around you,
One was
you're just
productive,
talking
one
about how
wasn't.
you perform. Like you can absolutely make that. Like if you were building a team, right? Like everything equal, I would absolutely pick Justin Fields over Mac Jones.
I would not.
Cool.
I would not.
There were a lot of people that picked Justin Fields over Mac Jones as a better.
You know what you do with
you're
OSU
essentially-
quarterbacks?
No,
You
it's
throw them in the
not even
trash
like that
can.
crazy.
Chucks, you essentially went down the order that they were drafted in. I mean, that's
Did
essentially
I really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You went down the order that they were drafted in.
Wait, no, Zach Wilson.
I
Was
mean,
drafted
no,
before.
Zach, outside of Zach Wilson. Outside
Yeah,
of Zach,
Wilson was
outside
drafted
of Zach
before.
Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
That's funny,
I
actually.
didn't even catch that. Yeah, I didn't even catch that. No one else has an opinion.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I'll give you my ranking. So obviously, 2020 class is better than 2021. Burrow and Herbert in a class of their own. So 2021 alone, I'm probably going to say Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance.
How do you guys say Trey Lance? You never seen this dude play.
So, but just because of talent, and I thought about that, just because of talent. But all right, so I'll say our preferences like this. So based on who I've seen play so far, who has actually played, I'll go Lawrence.
Lance did play like 2 games.
Yeah, no, but no, he did play.
I'm just saying, like we're talking about, he didn't play. He did play.
I'll go Lawrence.
Play, man.
I'll go Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields.
Okay.
People are low on Justin Fields. Wow.
I think with me for the 2021 class, if you're just looking at the 2021 class, I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. That's how I'm going to do it. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. That's how I'm going to do it.
So Fields isn't even mentioned on your.
Oh, yeah, duh. I'm sorry. I forgot Fields. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, you guys should go see Justin Fields play the last few games of the year, and what he was doing with that horrendous play calling.
Oh yeah,
Like the horrendous play. Like Matt Nagy, you had
no
to a
clue.
lot of people. You look at the play calling they had in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like under Matt Nagy last year, it was like high school play calling. So you have a guy with no offensive line, quarterback, talking about a rookie quarterback, no offensive line, a horrible coach, barely any weapons, that is surviving and making some of the throws that he's making. Yeah, I think you guys are missing out a little bit, underrating Fields a little bit. I mean, I think I think what Pete Young said was disrespectful. I think you two, Jake and Pete, are fine, but I think that Justin Fields is going to surprise a lot of people this upcoming year. Now, let me ask you this, because I got into this debate with someone online. If you were building a team, right? All things equal, or okay, who would you rather have on this team right now? Would you rather have Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, please.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Right, good.
Give me Hurts.
You said
what was the
Hurts?
question
Oh,
again?
I said Hurts. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The day
I
I
am
attach
so-
my wagon
I
to
am-
a OSU
Justin
quarterback
Fields-
is the day I die.
Wait, can you restate the question? Restate the question for Nate, please.
Yeah, what's the
The
question?
question was, who would you rather have on this team? Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields?
You talking about the Eagles?
Yeah,
Hurts. Why would you say Fields?
because I'm high on Fields.
You think Fields is better than Hurts?
Yeah, as a prospect, yeah.
I mean, right now.
Not right now, but in terms of long term, long term, I think Fields will ultimately be better.
That don't say a lot. That don't say a lot about Hurts.
Like, it doesn't say a lot, but that's the question. Long term, I would absolutely have Fields over Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm with Pete. I'm with Pete down there. I'm taking Hurts over Fields for sure.
Wow.
So, Mr. Pete Young, you said that you don't believe you're of the short-sighted mindset that you just don't believe in Fields because he's an Ohio State quarterback.
I don't believe in Fields because I don't think he's good. Also,
because he's
and the OSU thing, I'm good. I'm good. No LSU quarterback ever in the NFL has ever amounted to anything. And the day
Eagles draft CJ Stroud. So see, you're not a fan of CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Who
like he could be awesome in the NFL? He could, but how?
You kicked him out.
I just kicked him out for that. Like, really, he's gonna CJ Stroud. He's gonna talk with CJ Stroud.
I mean, you might kick me out too, but I don't see anything wrong with his argument. Like, I'm a numbers guy, and I go by not trademarks, as I'm not the word I'm looking for, but by trends. Right? I'm a gambler, and his trend is right. What Ohio State quarterback has ever been good?
Well, here's where context matters. Is a lot of the Ohio State quarterbacks that they've had the past several years, they have been athletes they put at quarterback because they didn't have anyone else. Fields and Stroud were recruited as quarterbacks first, not athletes. So that's the difference.
You're talking about a long list of
that's
quarterbacks, though, bro. You're talking about Ohio State. Like, we're talking about football that's been good for 40, 50 years.
And I understand that, but I always believed in scouting the name on the back of the jersey, not the helmet. Okay, that's always the priority.
But the trend, what they're saying is you got the last two quarterbacks out of a lot of history of that school's quarterbacks. I mean, Braxton Miller, I don't even think he fucking played quarterback in the league. He had to convert to wide receiver.
Wide receiver,
but
he converted to wide receiver in college.
He was an athlete. He was an athlete that they put a.
That's what I'm saying. So both of your points kind of cancel each other out because you're saying that they weren't recruited as true quarterbacks, but at the same time, based on what was already there, and the history shows that Ohio State quarterbacks haven't translated to the league. So there's truth in both statements.
I'm not saying who's right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't see anything wrong with Pete's argument. The fact that he's an Ohio State quarterback says a lot. Because there hasn't been a good Ohio State quarterback at all. Like, at all.
I get it. I look
serviceable.
I look at them as prospects. Like, I look at Fields, and I think a lot of the misconception around him when it was coming out of that draft was incorrect. I think people assumed he was a run-first quarterback who didn't know how to read the field, and that's actually not correct. I think he goes through a lot of the reads that he's supposed to go through, and he showed a lot of promise in terms of going through progressions. People you look at the system, and the system doesn't always call for that. The system a lot of the times will kind of like Sean Payton, where the system produces open wide receivers, and Ohio State has a talented wide receiver. So a lot of people, they take that and they take away from Fields, whereas Fields actually was a good quarterback. If you study him, he was a good quarterback. So I think he's a better prospect than a lot of people are making him out to be. And CJ Stroud, I mean,
he was a good quarterback.
You look at a lot of the draft projections right now.
He's number one overall pick.
He's a number one overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like. There's always trends in terms of people always throw out, oh, this school never produces good positions here, and so on and so forth. Those trends are always broken. People talked about not several years ago, maybe 10 years ago. People talked about Alabama running backs never amounting to anything, and now we have a trend of Alabama running backs being like the best. Coming every year, there's an Alabama running back. So trends are going to be broken. So I just don't like the fact of. I think if you want to make an argument that Fields by himself didn't impress you, okay. But I don't like the fact when people include, because he played at Ohio State, and ultimately that's one of their main reasons to write him off. I think that's being short-sighted.
He has every opportunity to change that trend, though. If he's as good as you say he is, he's going to change that trend, and everyone's not going to look at OSU quarterbacks like that. But until that changes, I have like 50 years of history of OSU quarterbacks having hype upon hype when they enter the league, and then it just fizzles out.
Right.
Cool. All right. That's awesome. But I'm not looking at the 50 year. I'm looking at Fields himself. And it's also tough for Fields. And I'm not making excuses for him, but would you say that the team around him right now is a team that jumps off the page? You look at the roster. Well, who's their number one? Darnell Mooney. Who's their number two? Velix Jones, a rookie. They just traded for N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry is going to be their number one, number two, number three. Look at their offensive line. Look at their coach. Like, it's not exactly the best situation. So, it is tough for Fields, but if you just study him look at how he played the last several games, he was really impressive. He was really impressive. So, again, I think a lot of people like Mr. P. Young is underselling him a little bit, but yeah. Let's talk about someone else. I mean, Nate Moss mentioned him. He's never really played, which is, relatively true. He should have played, and Pete, Mr. Pete, you've heard me talk about this ad nauseum all last year, how Trey Lance should have been the starter. But here we are. Trey Lance is now entering this season as the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. It's not going to be Jimmy G. And a lot of people are predicting a big year for Lance. A lot of reasons because of the system, a lot because of the team he's on. What are your expectations of Lance? Because coming out of that draft, I was very intrigued by Lance. I felt like even though he was a very high risk prospect because he's raw, coming from a small school, I felt like his tools gave him a very high ceiling at the same time. And that's why I predicted them. While everyone predicted Mac Jones to go to the Niners, I predicted them going with Lance because he has that ceiling. So what are your thoughts on Trey Lance going into 2022?
Which Peter are you asking, me or
anyone? Just talk.
Oh, I mean, it's like Nate said. For me, it's hard to have. I just at least keep the party going. You know what I mean? I don't know because we haven't seen this dude play, and the sample size isn't there like that. You know what I mean? So just keep going what they already have there, and if you improve upon that, I expect the big play offense to be a little bit better because of the fact of I just think he has a better arm. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. Listen, if you don't know, I'm just gonna say this real quick. Rengoku, actually. If you don't know who his avatar is, listen, do yourself a favor, go watch Demon Slayer Mugen Train, and then come back to me. If that shit didn't have you crying at the end, bro, you're not human. Your humanity is off, bro. Humanity is off. He's one of the Hashirars.
He does.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Stop.
He has a better arm.
What's he better at? Having more interceptions than touchdowns? Come on now,
he had a much worse team.
That's cute. Excuses are like assholes.
He had a much worse team. He had a much worse team.
Yeah, excuses are like assholes.
Yeah, he had a much worse team.
Cool. Guess what? He's going to have a much worse team.
He had a much worse team.
Great quarterbacks overcome. Great quarterbacks overcome.
He had a much worse team.
Carson Wentz was throwing the fucking practice squad kid to make the playoffs.
He had a much worse team.
No, he did.
He had a much worse team. Anyway,
I think I'm a defensive lineman, right? So I don't look at quarterbacks as much as I should. So I don't really have much with Trey Lance. I just find it interesting that Shanahan wants a more mobile quarterback in his system. Because he drafted Trey Lance, right? They traded up to get Trey Lance.
Traded a lot.
there's a reason why you did that, and obviously it's that dual threat quarterback because obviously, he is gifted with his legs and obviously he's gifted with his arm. So it'll be interesting to see because it's not like Jimmy G didn't win a lot of games in San Fran. So you got to bet because I honestly, at this moment, it's hard to say it's not Sean McVay. Really hard, but I'm really high on Shanahan as a coach.
Yep.
He is.
Thank you. Nate, you're my best friend.
If McVay didn't win that Super Bowl, I would have Shanahan won as is the best young coach in the league.
Thank you.
His offensive scheme is like if you're an elite talent, you're going to do work.
You're going to feast.
You're going to feed. You're going to eat. But if you're not, and you're just regular old, quote unquote, average NFL talent, you're still going to eat. Like his scheme is ridiculous. So I'm assuming that he feels like he can do a lot with something like Trey Lance, and that's why, from an odds perspective, they're not that far behind the Rams to win that division, which is really weird to me.
And especially with the Rams being the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and not even that is that the elephant in the room is that Trey Lance is going to start. He's going to be your starting quarterback.
Sight unseen too, like no competition or nothing.
And it's just like, okay, but the kid hasn't played like that. He doesn't have a big sample size. So to me, I mean, is he quote unquote a rookie? No, but it's going to be the first year that he's going to be a star. So those guys typically have issues.
Right.
Coming out. So it'll be really interesting to see what he can do with the full OTAs, full training camp, and getting all the reps instead of taking the mental reps and actually getting the reps on the field to see what that actually looks like. So,
which is, Nate, your point is exactly why I was so mad last year at Kyle for not just starting Trey last year. Like, if you started Trey last year, you wouldn't be in the questionable position that you are now. Like you would have gotten some reps under Lance's belt. Gotten some game time. Got his feet wet. He had 2 starts. That's it. Like you should have had more. And I know people are going to say, well, if they had Lance, they wouldn't have gotten as far as they did. They ended up losing to the Rams because Jimmy G couldn't get him over the hump. And that's the whole reason why I said, like, it didn't surprise me when they took Lance. You know why? Because Kyle Shanahan in his offenses has always had the pocket accurate QB. I think Kyle, being as forward thinking and smart as he is, finally realized he has to have a quarterback that can do more. He has to have a quarterback that can be dual threat and can take over when the system can't. Because there's limitations to a guy like Jimmy G when he had Kirk Cousins. You look at back when he was with the Browns, he had RG3, and that rookie year with RG3, they did amazing stuff. And then RG3 got hurt, and it was all downhill from there. But I think that's what he wants to do is he wants to be able to say, the quarterback position has held my offense back. Let me open it up. Let me get a dual threat quarterback with a big arm to make all these downfield throws. You have Ayuk, you have Debo. They just drafted that Danny Gray guy, another speed guy. So they want to get the ball downfield off of play action, off this wide zone stuff. So I think I'm angry still at Kyle for not giving Lance reps last year, but I think that just going forward, that's what he envisioned is Lance being that high ceiling, that high trait kind of quarterback that he's never had.
Which is weird too, because dual threat quarterbacks don't really win Super Bowls.
Right.
So I find it interesting.
But he does have an arm. Like he does. I think the big arm is what sold him, and he's toolsy. So he has the physical tools. He's got to learn.
Who would you consider the new mode of the quarterback? Mahomes or Allen, or both?
Between two.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what between
because
the two.
I mean they're both unicorns, but Mahomes to me is just like he's special.
Yeah.
Like his arm talent is special, and Allen's arm talent is special. Just not Mahomes special, right? But like what Allen did in that playoff game, he literally took over the game by himself.
Yeah.
And I think that if anybody's going to win a Super Bowl, that's a dual threat quarterback. Like next guy is going to be Josh Allen.
So I would say
true dual threat. Like I know Russell Wilson can run, I know Mahomes can run, but like a true dual threat quarterback who, when he came in the league, they were running up power with him.
Yeah, run first. Yeah,
like he was more of run first guy. Now Russell was a little bit different. That situation was different. He had arguably the greatest defense in the world on that team. So I love having that argument with people.
Yeah.
But,
so
and Marcel.
I'll rebuttal that question. Nate was saying like they're so special and so unique. I don't think you can use them as a mold because they're outliers. I think you can get closer to a Joe Burrow-esque. That will be my mold. Joe Burrow-esque type, who's not so much dual threat but can run. Doesn't have the greatest arm, but he kind of has it all. Mm-hmm. I think it's closer for teams to scout for that compared to because Mahomes doing this shit. This bitch be out there throwing sonic boom passes. Like
Mahomes is different, but I think
he just built different.
I think you can find an Allen in the draft. Like I think Trey Lance follows that Allen big arm, mobile
big
guy.
Arm run. Yep.
Yeah, big arm, mobile guy. I've never seen anybody's accuracy get better like Allen's has, because I believe accuracy is a natural thing.
Yeah,
like, I'm not a big like
for the most part.
You can do mechanics. You can work on your footwork. You can kind of work on anticipation. Yeah. But to me, you either have it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't see quarterbacks, progressively get better at their accuracy. They usually stick around at the same spot. Mm-hmm. They might have that outlier or those 2 years where they're white hot. They're hitting on all cylinders. But for the most part, if you're at 60%, your QBR is like 60%, or your accuracy is 60%. You usually stay about maybe 64, 65 at your height, and then get back down to like 61, 62. But Allen's was shit when he came in.
Yeah,
he was terrible, and just out of nowhere, I feel like he should have won the MVP already, and he hasn't.
Mm-hmm. Omar makes a good point. He says ball placement, not accuracy, and that's kind of a testament somewhat to football, but that's also like for golf too. Like I want to say I like to think I'm a good golfer, better than average. But the difference between like my misses and a pro's misses are still my good shots. Like my good to great shots. So like when you miss in a certain area, and that's kind of what we want to see with Jalen Hurts. Not so much we want to see him be more accurate, but ball placement is accurate. Put the ball in places that your fucking receivers can catch it. Where I think Josh Allen, and this is another test for him because no more Brian Dable. Now you got Ken Dorsey. Brian Dable and that team and that quarterback coach all helped you get to that point to elevate you there. Now you got the money. Let's see it. You talked about the two years that could be the outlier. What are those 2 years? And now with
New York, he went to the Giants.
Dable went to New York. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he went to New York. So now he got University to use Ken Dorsey as the OC. But I forget if they kept the QB coach there, then that could be something with some familiarity. But now all the expectations are in Buffalo as well. I think Josh Allen will live up to it, but I just don't expect those numbers to be the same. Like that's the one thing about Mahomes. Everybody fucking knows Mahomes is the shit.
Yep.
And the book has been out from him, and you still can't kind of stop him. But it's gonna be a first year for him with not having Tyreek Hill at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But he adjusted last year when he was.
They took the over the top.
Yeah,
they took the over the
top, and that whole team had to adjust, and they did. They did, and they bounced back. And now you have a Mahomes who's really. I mean, he even admitted when his first year starting, which was his second year in the league, he didn't know how to read defenses. Like he flat out admit he didn't know how to read defense.
Yep.
He was just
Yeah.
literally going through
Yeah.
first two progressions and then just making something happen. And we kind of saw how that kind of bit him in the butt over the past 3 years. That flaw has kind of reared its ugly head, but now he's starting to really learn. So if you put a gun in my head, I would pick Mahomes. I think when we did the QB rankings, I still had Mahomes by a hair over Allen, because I feel like Mahomes has shown he can adjust to the defense's adjustments to him. Allen now has to show he can do that when defenses adjust to him. When it comes to ball placement and accuracy, though, what Omar says is very important because remember, guys, accuracy is throwing a ball that's catchable to your receiver. Ball placement is putting it to the right spot for them to maximize either yak or where they can actually, get the most out of where it's supposed to be. So that's the point. Like, it's your ball placement may never. You can be more accurate to be on target, but ball placement is something that is very, very difficult to teach. Very difficult to teach. And if you're someone like Nate, that might just be a non-teachable thing. So
yeah, I don't think it is. That's what makes the greats great.
Mm-hmm.
They just have it. They just have that skill. I don't think it is, and that's why I've always been kind of down on Jalen Hurts. And people talk he just needs to get better to work on his mechanics. He does, but I don't know how much that can improve. Like, does it help? Does it improve? Absolutely. But I mean, people talk that he was with Tom Brady's trainer? Motherfucker, he ain't Tom Brady. So
Right.
Tom Brady had those traits. It's one, like, I think when they saying, like, it's one thing to have traits and show that and then build upon that. It's one thing not to have that shit and then try to add a new trick to the bag.
Yeah.
That's just tougher to do. You know what I mean? And somehow, some way, Josh Allen did it. But I think Josh Allen has a cannon and has an arm that allowed him to do that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you take a country boy from Wisconsin, you put him in Northwest Buffalo, and he has nothing else to do, and it Bills Mafia, and it's just a perfect storm. Patrick Mahomes, perfect situation, ideal. That goes to say something. Like Justin Fields, not ideal situation, probably going to be in the second team.
Not even that. Andy Reid was like fucking making plays like he was playing Madden.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Andy was here, did his thing here, and then it got the same old shit, Andy. That shit don't work. And next thing you know, this motherfucker was like out there with like a coloring book, just making shit up. You know what I mean? Just putting different colors and shit. Like you see some of the formations and the plays they would do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andy was like having fun, like it was backyard ball.
Yeah. I think that no look past the last game of the 2018 season, Mahomes' rookie year, and Andy probably was like, ooh.
Yes. Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. We got something here. We got something here, boys.
Yeah.
Man, definitely. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more QB I do want to talk about before we head out. Trevor Lawrence. Talking about a QB who had a really horrible year in a horrible situation.
The worst.
A lot like Fields,
Yeah.
but apparently Lawrence gets the benefit of the doubt. Fields doesn't. But anyways, Lawrence is in a much better situation now because he has Doug Peterson, Dougie P, who's the ice cream. He has better surrounding talent. He is going to get Travis Etienne. Now, James Robinson is going to be out. They keep saying, oh, he might be back for the start of the season. He tore his Achilles.
Right.
Like late in the year. Don't tell me he's going to be like. Don't tell me that. I don't believe that. So I think it'll be Travis Etienne back, and they'll probably lean on like the rookie running back Snoop Connor to be the RB2. But
where did Snoop go to college? I know where he went.
Snoop Connor. It's I don't remember.
Snoop Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him play.
Snoop Connor.
Yeah.
He went to
Ole Miss.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yep. So Lawrence with Doug Peterson and that new coaching staff now going forward. Do you think Lawrence, after the end of this upcoming year, between Lance, Fields, Wilson, Mac Mills, do you think he will establish himself as the better quarterback out of that class
Yes.
after this season?
Yeah, coaching
Yeah.
is huge for a young quarterback,
Yeah, yep.
and we've seen that with all the great quarterbacks. They've had great young coaches that kind of pair with them. I mean, just look at Andy, right? From Donovan, Foles, and then now obviously with Mahomes. I think I'm trying to think of somebody else who had a similar path. Was it McCarthy and Rodgers?
Yeah, but
Early McCarthy.
Early McCarthy was the quarterback. You know, he's from that is it the Holmgren tree?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So think about that Holmgren tree. That Holmgren tree was serious.
You
It
can
was
even
Andy,
say,
it was
Favre
McCarthy.
and Holmgren too. That was one.
Who?
Favre and Holmgren.
Holmgren themselves, yeah.
Yeah. So I think even Flacco with who was what's his name? Harbaugh.
Harbaugh.
You know, and even other Harbaugh with I'm so bad.
John Harbaugh with Kaepernick.
With Kaepernick, yeah.
So it is essential. It is almost essential for a young quarterback to be successful in this league. You have to have a good head coach.
Yeah.
And most of these head coaches were quarterback coaches or some type of offensive-minded, skilled quarterback. But most of them, Andy was a quarterback coach. Doug is a quarterback coach. I'm pretty sure McCarthy was a quarterback coach. Harbaugh was not. Either Harbaugh was not.
No.
Even Coughlin with Manning, he wasn't. Coughlin's, I think, was a defensive guy.
Who was the coach for Andrew Luck when he first got into the league? Was it Caldwell?
No.
Well, they fired him when he was winning.
Was it
I don't know who it was. I don't know.
The Ravens defensive coordinator? Chuck
Pagano.
Pagano, yeah.
And then it was Bruce Arians for a little bit.
And there you go.
And then that's when he made that jump. That's when Luck made that jump when Arians stepped in.
Yeah, and Arians is an offensive guy.
Yep.
I know Chuck is not, but Arians, I know for sure Arians is an offensive guy.
Yes.
Who's with Kyle? Well, who's with Murray?
His college coach.
Yes, college coach.
Is it Kyle Kitzenberg or something like that?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
Yeah. So it's essential for these guys to have these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine we do a meme from Trevor Lawrence walking into the facility reporting for training camp, or second week into the season last year, and then do one from this year. This bitch is gonna be there at 5:00 in the morning every day, ready to soak in everything. Because I'll go ahead and say it. Doug Peterson in the last 20 years, the most underrated Super Bowl winning head coach I've ever seen. Fucking disrespectful.
Most disrespectful.
Disrespectful. And now Jacksonville just happened to luck into a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Legit head coach.
Yeah, Doug is a legit coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a legit coach. So,
well, it tells you a lot about how excited Trevor is too, because as soon as Doug got there, he was the first. Trevor was the first person there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Trevor was the first person to meet Doug.
I called it. All right, me and Jake were talking about it early in the offseason. I'm just like, dude, he's going to Jacksonville and he's going to link up with Trevor Lawrence. Like, I literally just knew it was going to happen. Like, and also going from a coach who's dry humping chicks in a fucking in a bar and kicking the goddamn kicker and telling the guy from Detroit how he's not any good, to Doug Peterson, who's the ultimate players coach and the ultimate quarterback developer. Because look what he did with freaking Carson Wentz in his second year. Like, come on now. Like, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, you should be like giddy as shit in terms of what could possibly happen with Trevor Lawrence. Because they got him some offensive lineman help. They got him some weapons. You know, I think it's going to be a fun year for that duo.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're gonna have some really good moments. I don't think it'll be that good, but I think they're gonna have.
I think they can give it a run for the division, because I don't know what I'm gonna see out of
it. A run for their division.
Yeah,
who's
in the AFC South? It's them.
I say the Colts win that. Colts.
when I said
Colts.
the run, I mean I'm talking like they're not going to be the worst team.
Yeah,
No.
I think they'll hover around.
Who's going to be the worst team in that division then?
The Texans.
Texans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can't say shit
Oh
about
yeah.
Texans will be drafted
Right.
#1 overall. And they will draft C.J. Stroud, Ohio State.
Oh, no way. You don't like Mills?
I like Mills a little bit. I like long.
No,
guys.
I do. I don't know. I don't know if Neck is Mr. Neck is going to be the answer, but I think Mills is good.
That's just a bad team. They have literally nobody.
Yeah,
No.
I know.
They have Brandon Cooks. That's it.
Sean Watson.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Brandon
have
Cooks.
no talent. No talent on that team.
And that coach last year, who was the coach last year? Dude, that was unfair.
Oh,
the
the wide receivers coach for the long time. I forget his name.
Eagles wide receiver coach for a long. I forget. He was the coach for Avant when Avant was here.
Mhm.
Why is his name escaping me?
Yeah, names just has been escaping us this whole show. Like we can't think of names.
I mean, they got now the head coach now has the best beard in the game.
Yeah,
Lovie
Texans
Smith's
coach
beard
last
is
year.
ridiculous.
David Culley.
Coley,
David
thank
Culley.
you. Coley did a decent job considering he was just a lame duck with no talent.
Yeah.
He actually turned that defense. That defense was
Yeah, I would
solid.
would've never guessed that.
Winning 4 games with that setup is impressive in my opinion.
Impressive. It's impressive, and that defense wasn't horrible.
No.
And I like that they got.
Flores.
Stingley too. I like that they got Stingley too.
Who did they draft? Did they draft anybody?
Stingley.
They drafted
Derek
Stingley,
Stingley,
and then
yeah.
they drafted
They got Damian Pierce. They got John Mechie.
no the second pick in the first round. Who was it?
That's right.
Second pick.
They traded with us, right? But they traded with us, but then they still took. I forget who they took. I can't remember.
Stinley's the cornerback from LSU, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
They took him 4 for
Love that pick. Love that.
Stingley
they took him
and
third
Kenyon
overall, right?
Green.
They took the offensive lineman.
Yep. From
Kenyon
A&M.
Green. That's right. Yeah, the mean ass interior offensive lineman.
Yeah. So they got Stingley, Green, Jalen Petrie, and John Mechie.
Petrie.
Love Mechie.
Who's
Love
Petrie?
I love that draft.
Yeah, so do I.
That's a solid draft.
I
Honestly.
mentioned Damian Pierce. Hello, Damian Pierce is gonna be the RB1 there, man.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce is fun to watch.
I don't even know what running backs they have down there.
Yeah, just Pierce.
Damian Pierce.
Damian Pierce. Alex
That's
Mack.
it.
Marlon Mack. Alex Mack.
Oh, is that where Marlon's at now?
Yeah, Marlon from Houston.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is
shit.
where he's at now.
Marlon.
Wow.
It'll be those two will be a solid duo.
Yeah.
Matt did have a couple questions. He said, "I'm interested to hear you guys' take on Jordan Love. Can you see him being possibly the starting QB in Green Bay sooner than expected?" Thoughts?
Hell no.
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 I mean,
As
when
long
you
as
say
Rodgers
sooner, I
is
mean,
walking
is
around
Rodgers
there-
retiring or something?
Yeah,
Like,
they're just going to take the L on that draft pick. That's all that's going to happen.
Rodgers sat for what, 3 years? Was it
Yeah.
2 or
2 or
Yeah,
3?
Yeah, 3. It was 3.
3? Yeah, 3 years. Don't worry, Jordan. Keep that seat warm, buddy.
When they drafted
As long as
him, I literally was just like, "Oh, so he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?"
Nope.
Because think about it, like in
Yeah,
like
go for it.
30 years, they've had 2 quarterbacks, and they were both
Mhm.
Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Yep, you go from Favre to Rodgers. It's
So
insane.
like it was a normal progression in my mind.
And they only walked away with 2 Super Bowls.
Don asked, "Would you put
Embarrassing.
Tua in that accurate tier? Do you think he's an accurate quarterback?" And I'm going to ask this. What are your thoughts on Tua with the Dolphins and their new look team going forward?
I mean, when you pair
Special
Waddle,
team offense.
when you pair Waddle and Hill together, that's just scary in and of itself.
right.
But
In
it's
the
just the
secondary.
we know what Tua can be. I mean, getting Hill's sexy and it'll bring chairs in the seats and it'll sell jerseys. That's fine. But I don't know. I mean, Tua's okay. He's not like I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. He's shown that he's just inconsistent. That's my concern. And I don't think he's going to have like this aha moment. I have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It'll help for sure. But I just don't know for him if he's going to make that progression to be a consistent thrower of the football and just have it all click for him. I mean, I hope it does, at least for for Dolphins fans, because they haven't had a quarterback since freaking Dan Marino. So, but I don't see it.
Don't hate on Fitz. Fitz did his thing down there.
Yeah,
Also,
he did. You're right.
Also, don't hate on AJ Feely. Dolphins great.
Right.
AJ Feely.
Tua just doesn't do anything for me. But
Yeah.
I'm a lifelong Tua hater. I didn't like him in Alabama. Everyone was telling me how amazing he was going to be and how he needs to be the number 1 QB drafted. I liked Herbert coming out of college more than I liked Tua, which randomly went against the grain.
It's the injuries too for me that are a big
Yeah, he
red
gets
flag.
hurt a lot.
It was that hip in Alabama, and then since then it's just been it's always something. He's always
people
dealing
don't
with
realize
something.
how important hips is until something happens to that bitch. I'll tell you that.
Especially
on the hips.
Just ask Dak Prescott. And his,
No, loosens your hips.
loosen the hips.
Loosens the hips.
I think Tua's a solid guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's anything special, but I think he does get hated on a little bit too much. I don't think he's that bad that people make him out to be.
Yeah.
I think the acquisition of Hill to go along with Waddle plus Mike McDaniel. Oh my God!
Yeah,
I think that team is going to be good, regardless of what Tua does. I think that
Vertically, I don't know about what with Tua, but I mean, going left to right on the field, yes,
it's going to be scary.
it's
People remember what I said, Pete. Like, though everyone hating on or making fun of the move by the Dolphins to get Hill, you can tell they didn't watch games last year because Hill, most of his production came in the short to intermediate areas of the field. They took away the deep ball, so it's not like Hill was just catching deep balls anymore last year.
right.
It was short to intermediate. So what are the Dolphins going to do? Short to intermediate. What does Mike McDaniel? What he came from where? San Francisco. What do they excel at? Short to intermediate.
Yeah, but my counter to that would be is that I would trust Mahomes to put it where it needs to be every time and in that moment and space where it's the perfect place. I don't trust Tua to do that.
No.
Yeah, but
Well, you just said Mahomes, though.
you're talking about you're talking about Mahomes. I mean, I think everyone in the league would trust Mahomes over, unless you have Josh Allen, they would trust Mahomes over anyone else in the league to make any throw. So that's not really saying much there, Mr. Young. But I'm sure Tua can throw a screen just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, yeah, a screen or a slant.
And then you have those people out there that say Tyreek Hill's just a deep threat. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
He's an all-around threat. Like anyone who says that's
so
ridiculous.
inaccurate. When people
I can't
say
stand
that.
those people.
It triggers me so much.
They gave up like 2 to the 4 first-round picks because I don't know at the top of my head for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You have no choice to be an explosive, top-rated offense and a deep playoff run because anything else is a failure giving up what you've given up.
right.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Good show. We were two hours.
2 hours.
A little bit just over 2 hours. It's not bad at all. We've got one more show left before the start of training camp, I believe, right? That's one more show.
Yep, 12 days to go.
Training camp talk. We can even do 1 or 2 fantasy football specials in August. We'll see. We're going to have some fun coming up. But we got one more week before training camp hits. So we'll have some fun with it too. But good show. Good conversations. Good to have all of you back. It's not just me and Pete Young over here, talking about the most underrated
shit happens, man.
players. I know. That's the benefit of having 5 of us is that when people are out, there's still people holding down the fort. So
Not the first time I got kicked out somewhere.
and it won't be the last. Yeah. So anyway, thank you to all of our people in the chat. All of our viewers and listeners, thank you so
much.
The
healthy nut conversation going on right now between Bill Roman and Mr. Wynn.
I can tell.
Talk about walnuts and shit.
Thank you to all of our sponsors.
Oh my God, you weren't kidding.
Our guys at Manscaped. Remember, promo code A2D for 20% off. Guys, have a blessed and safe and fun week. We will see you all next week. So in the meantime, stay safe, God bless, and peace out. Check out the rest of A2D and their shows. We will see you Thursday. Bye.